The 2014 Monitoring the Future study has been released. This is a study that's responsible for tracking drug use among more than 40,000 8th graders, 10th graders, and 12th graders across the United States. It's conducted by the University of Michigan and the National Institutes on Drug Abuse. So they looked at trends in alcohol, marijuana, and cigarette use, among other drugs. And here's what they found. Quote, on the whole, each of these three substances has seen a drop in use among teenagers, but it's the data on marijuana use that stands out in the wake of legalization efforts across the country. Across every age group and in almost every category of use, so lifetime, past year, past month, daily, the numbers diminished from over the past year. So understand this because they make it crystal clear in the article. In the states that legalized marijuana use, so Colorado specifically, but of course now you add to that Washington and others, use among kids dropped. Here's the chart. All right. If you look at the very end of that chart, where it's this year and last year and the year before, you see that drop-off right there. That's right when the legalization effort happened. Now, why? Why did that occur? Well, it's very interesting. There's a bunch of different schools of thought to this. But for one thing, when you legalize something, you take away this forbidden fruit temptation and taboo where people feel like they have to get in on it because all the cool kids are doing it and it's illegal and it's wrong. So you take away this taboo, that's one thing. But also, when you destroy the black market or you hurt the black market by legalizing it, what happens? Well, the black market is going to not be as powerful. It's going to go away to a large extent. So kids are not going to be able to get their drugs on the black market nearly as much, or a lot of them won't be able to get it on the black market anymore because the black market is going away and it's hurt. And then if they try to go to the stores and get it where it's legal, well, they're not old enough to get it yet. So they say no. So then they're kind of assed out. They can't get their drugs anywhere, where it used to be they could just get it on the black market. But again, since the black market is hurt, they can't get it anywhere. So honestly, this might be one of the unintended consequences or not. Maybe it's just flat out one of the consequences of this, where they knew this was going to happen. But the reality is, when you legalize drugs for recreational use, the use of those drugs among minors goes down. Now, it's not just this one case. There's more cases. In fact, the perfect example of this is in Portugal, they decriminalized drugs. And what happened? Across the board, not just with minors, but with everybody, drug use went down. And again, a lot of it has to do with the reasons I stated. So the evidence is in, the evidence is clear. By banning something, by outlawing something, by making it illegal, you don't eliminate it. You just make it more dangerous. And you make it more of the forbidden fruit that people want to get their hands on. I mean, it's not like, hey, if you ban prostitution, it doesn't exist anymore. No, it exists, but people are doing it underground, and they're doing it in a much more risky way, and there's no regulation of the marketplace, and you have rampant abuse and STD transmission. But if you have it legalized and taxed and regulated, well, then you have a situation like right outside of Vegas, where there's never been an STD transfer, and the women actually report that they love their job and they make a lot of money doing it. So banning is almost never the answer, especially when it comes to substance freedom, especially when it comes to freedom to do with your body whatever you want to do with your body as long as you're not hurting anybody else. And now one of the key arguments of conservatives has been destroyed. Remember, it's Bill O'Reilly, it's people like him who go on TV and they scream and they yelp and they moan about how, well, the problem with legalizing recreationally for adults is that then you're going to have an epidemic of kids using it. Wrong, Bill. The data says the exact opposite. They legalized, and use among kids, use among minors dropped.